Gentlementor. On the road.
Knowing me, knowing you. Man, opera really brings the phlegm out of you. Okay, so we're recording now.
Oh, okay.
So turn the music down. I want to ask you a question. Have you been to Clarksville before? I mean, I assume you've been through Clarksville any number of times.
No, I don't think I've ever been through Clarksville.
Have you ever been there to be there?
No.
What was your impression of Clarksville?
I liked it. It's a really nice town.
Since we're on the way to Nashville, I thought we'd do a wrap up on Clarksville.
It was a clean town. I love the downtown area. I didn't realize that Clarksville was as large as the city was.
Did you ever bump into a population number? I don't remember ever seeing that.
No.
I'm really not sure how big it was. Like, I always try to scale it toward a town I know.
No.
If it's the population. Oh, so it's like such as again.
What's the population of Clarksville, Tennessee?
In 2020, the population of Clarksville was 166,722.
I feel like it's a lot bigger than Springfield, though.
But it's not, is it?
I know.
It's
It's
smaller.
smaller
It's
than
just a little
Springfield.
bigger than Columbia, and
Yeah.
it didn't seem that big.
No.
I would have guessed something smaller. Anyway, I was not only impressed with how downtown was super cool last night.
Yeah.
You go see all the cool buildings
Yeah.
and all that. As I was laying in bed last night doing that thing that I do when I can't go to sleep, which is think about a lot of different stuff. I was thinking, everybody here seemed really friendly.
Yeah.
I didn't bump into anybody that was ever, the lady in the Walmart electronics department
Oh, yeah.
who said that they didn't have the air on was the only person that didn't look happy, but she was still very friendly, extremely helpful. I was kind of reflecting on that last night laying in bed. It's like I had this sensation that every person I ran into was somehow a relative or a friend. Which wouldn't strike me as all that weird, I guess, except that, of course, if you watch the news and all that kind of thing, you certainly don't expect it.
No.
But where I live, it's not that way. People where I live are mostly kind of, I don't want to say necessarily rude, but self-contained, self-centered.
Yep. Focused on themselves.
They don't even have the time to extend any additional courtesy or just friendliness or warmth. And it's like, what does that cost? How long does that take? And man, what a different way I feel about being in that town.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I kind of like Clarksville. I would kind of put it on my list of possible places to consider living. Not that I ever thought I'd want to live in Tennessee. If I had to, that wouldn't be a bad choice.
I wonder what it is about. Somebody's got to study, surely, about the geographic friendliness and what determines that, what causes that.
Yeah, I don't know. My experience has always been that people from big cities and people from the eastern seaboard, East Coast people,
Yeah.
it's not that they're rude, it's just their approach to doing things is way more direct.
Right.
So it seems, I guess, kind of rude. Or impatient or something.
Speaking of impatient, around these guys. This must be all the people that live in Clarksville that work in Nashville. The traffic at 7:25 in the morning.
We're on the commute, huh?
Yeah.
Oops.
We're in the commute crowd here.
Well.
But yeah, I could see. What is it? About an hour to Nashville? I guess it depends on where you would work in Nashville. You can still live in Clarksville.
40 miles is just ain't nobody doing 70 out here. I was thinking, if this was like an interstate going to Nashville, I assume it would be. Probably have 70-mile-an-hour speed limit. It'd be like a 30-minute drive.
Well, it is 70 miles an hour.
Oh, is it?
And it is an interstate.
Just nobody gets to do it.
And then but we're doing 75.
Oh, okay. I'm telling you, this is a decent car, man.
I know. We're doing 75.
I don't know if you knew or not.
And
It's
people
really
are
nice.
passing us too.
Okay, I didn't realize we were going that fast.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's because we were down this tunnel of trees.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah.
I love about Tennessee, and Alabama's this way too.
Oh, Mississippi, in the pines.
Yeah, it's
where
got
the sun
these-
never shines.
You got these tunnel of trees.
I like it now. I remember as a kid driving,
Oh, look at that. Traffic
Yeah.
here.
driving north to south through Mississippi and the just maddening pine trees.
Yep.
Man, But yeah, I find it very
And
soothing.
then you'd hit a section where they had harvested the pine trees, and it would just be empty
Yeah.
for like a mile, and then pine trees again.
My first thought when I was saying, oh man, we had so many really positive interactions with people over the course of this like day and a half in Clarksville. And one of the things I was thinking about, because I'm, laying there in bed at night thinking about shit, is like how much of that, and there's no way to quantify this, but just topically speaking, for a fun anecdote, how much of that is them and how much of that is us? And then I started reflecting on, and this is kind of goes back to the, the coveting, and we covet what we first see, and falling in and out of love with things. Is it that familiarity with home that makes it seem boring and monotonous, and like these people aren't worth the trouble? And like maybe I'm a little more open and I'm a little more friendly. Maybe it ain't just the place. Maybe it's the way I'm putting it out, because I'm here like trying purposely to.
Right. Well, and you probably have a heightened heightened endorphins and things like that going on, because you're on a road trip.
Yeah.
You're in a new place, and so you're probably just your body language alone probably says, hey, I'm friendly, and I'm looking for someone who's friendly too. And everybody's like, oh, well, I'm a friendly person.
It seems, whatever it is. I mean, hadn't really thought about it until everything kind of slowed down last night. I was like, thinking, that's
you almost have to ask somebody from Clarksville. You ever been to Springfield, Missouri, or Columbia, Missouri?
Yeah.
What'd you feel? Been nice? Oh no, God, I hated them. They were horrible. Oh, okay.
Those people suck. Okay. That should all look pretty much the same.
It's just
trees and cars.
Trees. You could just loop that if we need to.
Yeah, that's
right?
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I gotta get 3 minutes of it. Like time stretch it, make for traffic jam. It just wasn't moving. So I thought about that a lot. And then I had this other thought that kind of crept in as I was laying there, and it was kind of on that conversation that we were having over dinner last night. And I think I may have figured something out.
Oh, okay.
I think I may have found an answer.
All right, I'm ready.
So,
Turn this down. That's cool.
yeah, what are we on?
Yours is on low.
It's all the way down. Meat freezing temperature. Plenty good. So I was thinking about that thing. God loves you best when you're singing.
Okay.
And I was kind of thinking around that idea, and I thought, what if the proper way, maybe it's just a syntax thing, and what it really was supposed to say is God loves it best when you sing. The problem with that is that then God is loving the singing and not you.
Right.
And then it hit. What if that's God's favorite? What if that's what he meant? Anybody singing, you singing, me singing, that's God's favorite. Like, we have a the first thing God wants you to do is surrender to him, and he wants you to do his will.
Yep.
But of all the earthly things we can do, because we know it's not really an earthly thing, the thing that God likes us to do, but God's favorite, is when we sing. And when David wrote Psalms, he was singing songs. And that's why he could say anything. And that's why he's a man after God's own heart. He was doing God's favorite thing.
I think you nailed it.
Transform that. Take that right over and print it onto Elvis.
I think
he was doing God's favorite thing. So, here's what the movie's about. It ain't about Elvis. It's about God's favorite thing. And it starts with David. God showed me Elvis because I can see David, and I can admire David, and I can appreciate David, but David's in an ancient world. There's only so much of that translates. Elvis is like kind of a telescopic view. What could that look like? And that's not perfect. Again, we know Elvis wasn't perfect, not like that. But that's the stepping stone. That's the place to jump from. That's why I think I'm kind of obsessed with this. The same thing when you left FLF and I got the gig, the first thing I did was start studying David and studying the Psalms and memorizing the Psalms because I was convinced that was the paradigm. I got to get my head into that space. I got to learn to speak that language. And then I was able to go from there. This whole thing has been me kind of doing this. I'm relearning that language in a modern kind of paradigm. But I think that's what the theme of what I'm supposed to be doing is. I think that's the theme of the movie, if there's even a movie. By yesterday, I'd given up on movie. I was like, screw it. I don't know what it is. I'm just going to film stuff and have fun. And I'm laying there last night. It's like, that's the whole thing. That's his favorite thing, is when we sing. It's so much of a favorite to him that he even likes it when unsaved people sing. I mean, not if they're singing about, slapping their hoes and worshiping the devil. That ain't going to work ever. But, I think because it's a heavenly thing, and secular people can still sing. And when they sing, the power of heaven is moving through them. The thing that was created in heaven is coming through them. What better way to come in contact with God? So, that's what I was thinking about in bed last night.
I love it. Do you have an offering bucket? 'Cause I certainly would. I'd give today.
You don't know how hard it was not to come over and get in your bed and wake you up last night. Oh.
I got it.
I'll save it for the car. This will give us something to talk about and nothing else.
Good call.
So that's where I'm at. I found myself this morning without any questions to ask, and it's been a while.
Wow.
I'm like, that's a substantial answer. I know it will unpack itself over time.
Sure.
And that's why I want to talk about it with you, because I'll give you an idea like that. Of course, now you're going to go, yeah, sounds good. Well.
All right, here we go. Fight to power. No, I think you nailed it. Absolutely. And I'm sitting here thinking through that, going, okay, that aligns. Of course, your biases of mine anyway.
But
for the most part,
this whole thing, the holdback for me, the baffle, has been that this is about me, and as always, it just ain't.
Right.
This is about God's favorite thing.
Right.
See,
but now,
I can't sing because I'm afraid somebody's making fun of me. I can't sing because I think I'm not as good as everybody. Anyway, but it's my favorite. Oh, well, if it's your favorite, I guess I'll stop making up talk about how bad it is or how hard it is or whatever for me.
And then you have to go back to the whole. Let's go back to the whole Tommy Tenney days.
God's favorite house.
Yes. Let's go back to when he explains how a father and a child. One of your girls brings home a piece of paper from kindergarten that's got 4 different colors on it.
Sorry, he just saw it blinked and started coming over.
I'm watching them. And whatever it is on that piece of paper, it's nothing, but it's something to her, and she brings it to you, and you're like, this is my favorite thing. I'm gonna put it on the refrigerator. Mm-hmm. So the songs that we sing are on God's fridge. And how good you are, and whether you like the song, it doesn't matter. It's His favorite because we're His children. It's and this is this kind of it's punching me in the face, but it's very effective. It's like it's His birthday. Yeah. Not just on Christmas. Every day is His birthday, and after all He's given, He's telling you what His favorite thing is. I spend oh God, what can I do for you? Oh God, what can I do for you? I'll go and do this, and I'll give up this, and I'll be a missionary, and start with singing. All you got to do is sing. If you sing, there's that heaven thing in song that's moving through you. That Tabernacle of David thing is like the highest version of that. It's the most developed way that you can do that, where you are singing directly to God, and it's like there's nobody else there. Yeah. You become the vessel. Said I'm more and more convinced. I was like that's thanks God. I said thanks God. So it's not about you, but it's for you to bring a message. That's You're the host. The thing is to get people to sing. You're the host. Not to sing to people. It's what it's always been. It's this thing that irritates me. One of the things that's irritated me about the church for so long.
once it's about, I mean, and we always say it, oh, this for God, but it was just words before. It's like now there's something behind it.
Yeah.
I'm just singing. Why am I just singing to God? Well, because it's His favorite. Oh, I know what God's favorite thing for me to do is. I mean, again, God wants you to surrender your life to Him. He wants you doing His will. This isn't a substitute for that. But if you've done that, if you're in that process, the best way for God to have full contact with you is to come right through you. And song is a mechanism that allows that. So the more you tune it, the more you move that your self stuff out of the way and what you need, and that becomes, if you know that's His favorite, it becomes immaterial. Your kid illustration. You want to get something for your kid. Take that same kid. They give you a picture. It's your favorite. You want to get them something. It's immaterial what you like. I mean, you might think, oh, I'd like to get them this one, but if you know what they really want, you want to get them that.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I said. Once it's like, oh, that's His favorite. That tells you everything about it. It ain't got nothing to do with you. Because we do lip service to, it's not about you. It's not about you. It's all about you, Jesus. It's all about you.
It's all about you.
But it's like, it's all about a lot of things. But that singing, if you can do it right, even if you can't do it right, I think it's still, I think it's like swimming in peroxide or something. I think it'll just kind of become sort of a cleanser almost, a displacement thing.
Yeah.
Wow, there's full circle. Took that all the way back to Sunday, or Wednesday now, full circle back to Sunday.
Good job. Always counted it full circle. Well, 17 miles from Nashville, and we're at a standstill. Almost.
Rainy days and Mondays always get me down.
What is that? A giant oversized vehicle?
What is it? On the next Gentlementors. It's a Massey Ferguson. I don't know what that's built to accomplish. Write in the comments if you know what the crap that was.
Probably some implementing equipment.
Get ready to experience the Music City.
Get ready to see a lot of signs. Look at this rig.
Ooh.
We're in Nashville. It's a pretty nice rig.
I got what celebrity do you think is inside this
It's a
Prevost?
Prevost,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
definitely a celebrity.
Yep.
Hey, what are you doing there, country music people? There you go. Big, giant, blacked out tour bus. Who's in it? Comment below.
Should have seen if we could have timed it where we hit Nashville right at 8 o'clock traffic.
I don't think you could have done this good even if you timed it. Oh man, there you go. You can see that glorious skyline coming into view. You can almost hear the country music from here. But not just country, all kinds of music are made in Nashville. There it is, folks. Way up there in the hazy mountain morning distance. The city of sequins, the city that always sleeps. Nashville, Tennessee. Music City, USA. That's all I got.
I don't know what else to say about it.
Clearly.
Nashville.
Here, man, a few words.
Nashville.
There you go. What else can you say? One word says it all, and that word is Nashville.
Does everybody know someone that lives in Nashville?
Yes, true.
Like a friend.
True.
Not like
No,
everybody knows Dave Ramsey because
No.
we know. Oh, I know Dave Ramsey.
Your other guy that Christian was talking about the other day. He lives in Nashville. I looked him up because I follow him. I thought I don't know anything about it. Don Miller.
Don Miller lives in Nashville.
Yep.
Well, I don't know him, but
Right. Not personally.
I've got one friend I know that I used to work with at a church. He moved to Nashville.
No, I got two friends here now.
Go this way, Mr. Honda. Hold on.
Yeehaw beer. Sounds appropriate. Seems like the beer you'd want here. Kind of like drinking Lone Star in Texas or Although I prefer the Shiner.
Takes a Shiner Bach.
Yep. Chattanooga, Knoxville, Huntsville, Memphis.
Memphis is the other way.
That's what I'm singing. Hello, Waffle House. Waffle House kind of replaced my childhood memories, like Howard Johnson's and Stuckey's. Like when you were on road trips, everywhere you went, there were Howard Johnson's and Stuckey's.
Yep.
Those are all gone. I mean, I know there's a couple of the buildings still exist for Stuckey's. There may even be a functioning Howard Johnson somewhere. I don't know.
There's a Howard Johnson somewhere. I can't remember where I saw it.
I mean, like,
so what, Lake of the Ozarks?
I don't know. I remember, like, even when we drove to Oklahoma, that was being like a rest stop with a Howard Johnson's. And that was like an oasis, because that drive from Hannibal to Oklahoma it's a long drive. I mean, it's not really, but it seems long.
We always drove to Dallas, from Tulsa to Dallas.
How far is that?
Back in the day, it was mostly just a 2-lane highway, so it was about a 6-hour trip. You can do it now in about 4 hours, I think, from Tulsa, because the highways are better and faster speed limits. But I have memory of the drive. I don't have memory of like the stops and things. Deborah always talks about the Flying J, the Flying J sandwiches in the plastic containers.
Really?
That's what they would get. That was their road trip meal.
Go-to?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the stops just because they rarely happened. Because we had, I'm sure your dad, I know your dad well enough to know he's probably in the category where once you get in the car and start moving forward, you're not allowed to stop until you arrive.
Right, almost.
My dad was like, no. You don't need to ask. Don't even wonder. It'll be like Christmas if it happens.
Well, my dad was a little bit more like the lines of, once we arrive, we're not stopping. We're gonna go see
pull
this.
of a Kentucky vacation.
We're gonna go see this. We're gonna go see this. There it is, the Nashville skyline.
There you go. Let me throw a little angle to you there so you can look at it. Enjoy it. Drink it in. Nissan Stadium, Performing Arts Center, Musicians Hall of Fame. I do want to go see that someday.
Are the Tennessee Titans based in Nashville?
I think so. Seems reasonable.
I think so.
There you go. Nashville. You know, black truck guy. You're on candy camera. Wave. Forklifts. Dollywood, Gatlinburg, the Great Smokies are calling. I didn't hear the phone ring.
I didn't hear. WeGrowHair.com.
Shit, let's go see that. There's a site I want to see. Okay. Now, what's all this lusting you're doing?
Is that what I was talking about?
Lust. Let's talk about lust.
No, I was saying.
Let's talk about lust, baby.
Do you think the average unbiblically trained, biblically illiterate person really knows what lust is? Because we kind of live in a culture that glorifies lust or normalizes lust, or in fact, I think creates a lust in itself. But I think people are just
stimulates lust.
Yes, I think people are so used to it, they're almost, what do you call it, callous to it.
For sure. It's such a common thing. It doesn't have any, like, shame power to it, for
Right.
lack of a better term. Yeah, like, I'm lustful, you know. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I could probably give you a dictionary definition of lust, but yeah, a lot of lust for sure. But
I've heard it as an uncontrollable desire.
Uncontrolled.
Unbridled desire or something like that. So you could lust over food, I guess, in that case, because it's not necessarily sexual in that thing. But when you can't control the desire, then it becomes lust. And I think we always think of it in the sexual content because Jesus said, if a man looks at a woman and lusts after her in his heart, he's committed adultery.
Right.
And so immediately we relate it automatically to sexual things. Which, I mean, we're very sexual beings.
Yeah. I know I am. I've noticed, even Riley posting stuff about, encouraging people to stop watching porn.
Yeah.
I've noticed there's, a trend of that kind of going on. And not from any kind of, lust is bad, it's a sin to watch porno. It's just people recognizing how much energy and just everything it depletes from you. It robs you. It doesn't really give you anything.
Right.
But yeah, lust is kind of, most sinful things I think are kind of seen as, well, it's not really that bad, or it's not that bad anymore, but it's all that, we've gotten numb to it because there's so much of it. How can you tell someone don't lust when everything in culture and society and the internet is all about promoting lust?
Yep.
It seems impossible to win, so why bother trying, I guess?
Well,
not for me personally, but if I was out in the world.
I mean, I'm raising a teenage son. So.
Yeah, you are. And you done raised a teenage daughter once upon a time.
But I think it's geared more towards male.
We are the target audience.
We are the target audience.
It's kind of like that toy in the cereal box intended to motivate your child to motivate you to buy cereal.
Right.
Listen, that's one of the big things, that sort of lifestyle point of view. It's it absorbs everything.
This is my favorite Prince song. Since you're wearing your shirt. Okay. Right.
Oh no,
What are you motivated? You're motivated to lust?
Well, if you motivate a dude's lust, he'll take care of the rest.
Right.
He'll wreck himself.
It does not take
Stumbling
much.
over.
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
So I always enjoy I didn't always enjoy it. Come to enjoy the whole speech Jesus gives about if your right eye offends you, pluck it out.
Right.
And
I don't think that's how you have to stop watching porn.
yeah. It's not
Pluck out your
not
eyes.
literal plucking of eyes.
Don't want anybody to get. Oh, well, they said.
Plug out your eyes, you'll wind up blind. But there are things you need to turn a blind eye to because you can't win them. And there's this thing, and this goes back to a lot of stuff we talked about, man stuff. I need to conquer this by myself in my own strength. I will overcome this. It's man, when it comes to lust, for sure, it's a great topic. Every card in the deck is stacked against you. You're not going to be able to control it.
No.
Or just look at a little bit of porn.
Right.
It won't stay in a healthy place. It's going to encroach on every part of your life. It's going to start taking over. Lust, you don't even need porn, but porn's a great starter seed for lust. A fertilizer.
I disagree with that.
What's that?
Porn is not a good fertilizer for lust. I think porn is more lust fully blossomed. I think the fertilizing for lust is standing at the checkout counter at the Walmart, browsing Instagram, spend 30 seconds on TikTok, and that's all there's there.
It's all around you. I think the only way to beat it is to turn a blind eye to it.
Well, it comes down to discipline, self-discipline.
Yeah,
You have
well,
to-
yeah, exactly. That's next point. And that means you got to be the police,
Right.
and nobody likes that.
Right. Well, nobody wants to police themselves.
No, they want somebody else to be the police.
Right.
So then they get mad about it when they tell me not to
don't
do
want
it.
anybody to police us. We're America.
Right.
We want to do what we want to do, and we don't want to have to answer for it.
Yes, but when we want to change something, we'd really like someone else to do the work. We get someone else to do the work to change work, and I could just have the experience of change. But really, what I'd like, if I could, in a perfect world, get everybody else to change, so that they do the things that I like, and then that takes care of all that.
Right.
Petarda? Petarda.
Petarda. They're from New Jersey.
I don't know. Is that what that Jersey tag?
That's a Jersey tag.
I remember having a conversation a million years ago in our sweaty office. And we was talking about, is it okay to lust for your wife? Do you remember that?
I do. I do now.
Like, I don't even think that's okay. I'm like, no, because I think kind of like the first thing you said. Lust means the desire has taken over.
Right.
You're not driving the car.
You're not.
You're in the back
control.
seat.
Yeah, because the whole idea of not renewing your mind and not bridling your flesh, whatever it is, good or bad, is against
Yeah.
the principles that God wants us to live by.
I can tell you that, like, I was going to say early in our marriage, but when I say early in our marriage, I mean like everything but the last 2 years. So early in our marriage, there were a lot of times when that caused undue stress in our marriage. Because I was lusting after my wife. And it wasn't that I was necessarily lusting after her. It's that one of my crutch things I go to when things aren't going good in life, they're like my two favorites, is like food and sex. You know, booze and everything else is farther. Food and sex are like my self-soothing things. Well, it's not me self-soothing. It's me trying to get someone else to namely my wife. So, oh, that's fine. It's my wife and I'm allowed to, and it's all good and cool. But it's like, you know, at some point, that stuff will become destructive even in a marriage. If you just like are machine gunning lust at your mate,
Yeah.
it's just not going to work.
No, I've seen it break marriages apart.
So I remember having the conversation a long time ago. I don't remember what we said about it or where we landed on it, but I remember the topic. And it seemed like at that time I was like, no, it's okay. No, it's not. You always have to drive the car.
Back to your wife.
Hello!
Turn it around.
You always have to drive the bobsled. It's really pretty out here. A lot of green.
The Gentlementor. On the road